Okay, this should be a very simple guide for Sambi because she is a very simple character to understand and there really isn't much to figure out about her. In any case, ANBY, the gameplay is to fill up that gauge. As you can see, the icon, the blue icon on the enemy, that's an actual gauge. The idea is to fill it up with basic attacks. As you can see, it's a little bit filled up. And once it gets it to one of the spikes, in a second now, you press the skill button, just tap it. She does this dash, dealing some extra damage. So the idea is to fill it up all the way. You can see fill it up all the way. And do 3 taps on the skill button. She deals a buttload of damage. She does like 3 dashes. And the last dash, it does actually make a thunderbolt. Just showing it again. That deals even an extra amount of damage. You do need to press the skill button 3 times relatively quickly for the thunderbolt to actually show up. If you are a little bit too slow, well, even if you are slow, I guess it does still show up. As you can see, okay, I was really slow that time and it didn't show up, so be relatively quickly, don't take too long doing the 3 skill buttons or the 3 taps, and the thunderbolt should always show up. Now for ways to make the gauge fill up completely relatively faster, as you can see the skill does actually make it fill up completely full. You do have to hold down the skill button to do this, instead of just tapping it. Also 2 chains, or 2 basic attack chains, can also fill it up completely, because as you can see, 1 basic attack chain filled it up halfway through, and a second one fills it up completely. The burst also fills it up completely, as you can see. And let me just make the enemy attack really quick. A dodge counter. Nope. Almost fills it up completely. It's just like 1 auto attack away. So some quick notes about ANBY. These dashes actually have iframes. The skill also, of course, has iframes. So she does have quite a big amount of iframe. She also pretty much wants to stay on the field pretty much all the time to, you know, always be filling up the gauge to deal even more damage all the time. And if she is on the field, she does buff everyone's aftershock damage, which is a new damage type on the game. Right now, only ANBY, Pulchra, and in the future Trigger have after damage. So if you are using them in a team with ANBY, it does actually become even more important. And now for team build, surprisingly, Nicole works incredibly well with ANBY. The idea with Nicole is, let me just do this. The idea with Nicole is to fill up the gauge completely, switch to Nicole, use the skill, and then use the 3 dashes immediately. And doing this all the time. It works out incredibly well, especially if you do have Astra. If you don't have Astra, however, Rina is also a great choice. And of course, Trigger in the future will also be an incredibly good character to use. And now for Sambi's build, of course, she will be using her new Shadow Harmony CD set. And for the 2-piece, it doesn't really matter. You can use any good 2-piece set, offensive 2-piece set, of course. I've decided to use the new one, the Branch and Harmony one or something. The Branch and Blade 2-piece, because it does give some critical damage. It should be the best one, but the damage difference isn't really that high from what I've seen so far. So you can use any 2-piece offensive set. Really just use the best ones, or the ones that you have with the best substats. And now for weapons, of course, her signature weapon will be the best one. I'm personally using Evelyn's weapon, which is also incredibly good for her. But for a more free-to-play option, there is an event weapon from a past event called Marcato Desire. That should be the best one. But if you don't have the event weapon, you can go for Starlight Engine, which is also great on her, and the damage difference is very, very minimal. Now, a few things to notice about ANBY. She does get an extra 12% critical rate just from her CD set, and she also gets an extra 10% critical rate from her passive. So you don't really need to worry about too much if you don't get that much critical rate on her, because she will be getting an extra just from those 2 things, which is incredibly good. She is very, very easy to build just because of those 2 things. And yeah, that's everything for ANBY, so leave.